All right, it is that magical time on our program where I will pose a series of hard-hitting, provocative questions to Dominic Foxworth, and whether he is ready or not, he has to
he's
answer
ready.
them.
Did you see that ready?
Yes, you were. You held that pose a very long time.
Claw's shaking, boy.
Brandon told you coming out of the break, get in the pose. He didn't realize we had an entire baseball segment for you to sit through first. Okay, first question for you, Mr. Foxworth. Jalen Hurts has been the topic of so much conversation. So once and for all, will he regress or progress this season?
I think he'll progress. I think Sean Mannion's a very young a very young coordinator coming over from the Packers. They're going to run the ball and put him under center. I think they're going to make his job a lot easier using shifts and motions. It feels like a more modern offense. The offense they had before was a lot more simple, and it was based on whether they could run the ball or not. I think that this offense will give him a few easier answers. And Jalen Hurts, I think he'll perform much better than he did last year, return to a Super Bowl caliber team because of that.
He's the most talked about player in the league. We're going to do a little more on the Eagles a little later. Let's stay in the division. Neek, what would success mean for Jaden Daniels and the Commanders this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think completing the season healthy is the starting point for Jaden Daniels, because that was a big question for him coming in. Of course, his rookie year was outstanding. If he could return to that rookie season, I think those things go hand in hand. If he's healthy, he's great. And I think this team will be really impressive if Jaden Daniels can stay healthy, because their defense, they answered a whole bunch of questions through the draft and free agency on that defensive side of the ball. I think this team is going to surprise some people the same way they did Jaden's rookie season.
It's been a strange roller coaster the first couple of years. Last one. Let's stay right in your neck of the woods there in Baltimore. Should Lamar Jackson sign an extension now or play out this season and roll the dice?
Yeah, there's no reason for Lamar Jackson to sign his extension at this point. I think a quarterback like him, really, no matter what happens this season, he's going to get a really big extension. The reason why he might want to sign it is to give the team some more space to operate and add more players that they need. But they're past that portion of the season right now. I think Lamar Jackson plays this season out. He has no trade, no franchise. He has all the clauses he needs to protect himself going into the last season of his contract.
Yeah, and it's a new sort of fresh start time for him and for his Ravens team. Now, I've been away for a couple of weeks, but I noticed this. So let's put the screen up there if we can. So they're announcing the NFL's top 100 players, right? Which is where the players themselves vote and they rank the players. What we're looking at are the quarterbacks that have been announced so far. Lamar Jackson is the 69th overall ranked player, the 69th best player in football, according to the other players. Already, Trevor Lawrence and Bo Nix are ranked ahead of him. And for the record, Lamar Jackson was number 2, not among quarterbacks, but overall. He was number 2 on this list in each of the last 2 seasons. So, Kyle, I'll start with you.
Yes.
I was watching that as I was away. How should I react to that? How should a person react to that?
First of all, you try to stay calm. That's what I'm doing. I try to stay calm.
I'm doing my best.
All right. God bless those top 100 ratings. God bless them. They are manna from heaven to get us through the desert of the offseason, and we need it. I also think that they're like a high school election, and I've heard a million players who do them in the middle of the season. They're handing them after a practice. They scribble the names in, they roll their eyes, and they hand it back. I don't think there's a living person in the world, including every single Denver Bronco, who thinks Bo Nix is better than Lamar Jackson right now. And if they do, they're not watching the games. It's fine if you want to say Bo Nix is up and coming. That's great. He's not better than Lamar Jackson. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and yet it doesn't feel like nothing to me. Last season feels like everything that happened just felt very off.
If he had dropped from 2 to 12 or 2 to 22, then I think we could say, oh, yeah, but 2 to 69 is significant. And we had this conversation last week, and Bart Scott was on here, and his theory was this is players voting, and it reflects the fact that when he came back from injury last year, he didn't run the way he used to, and therefore isn't as scary to defensive players as he used to be. If that's the case, it's still an overcorrection.
Right.
But going forward, it does raise the question of where do we put him? Obviously, anybody's going to take him over Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence if they're starting a team right now. That's not an insult to either one of those guys. He's got 2 MVPs. We know when he's healthy, when he's at his best, he's the best player in the league. So what has changed in the eyes of his opponents, I think, is the question that comes out of this.
Yeah, it's hard for me to imagine that he was, at this point, he's not as reliant on that rushing attack as a generator of his offense. Like, he threw 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions a couple years ago and 4,000 yards. That's not a regular Lamar Jackson season, but that's not a regular anybody season.
Right.
It was one of the best seasons a quarterback has ever played. And of course, last year was injury riddled. My guess is that these players are projecting some more injuries for Lamar Jackson, because if they think he's going to be healthy for most of the games, he's a top 10, top 20 at worst player in the entire National
But
Football
that's not your
League.
job to project injuries.
So, I mean, they're
You know, everybody.
I can't
because
explain.
everybody could get injured.
Yeah.
The point is, I feel like there has been some question in the minds of some people, and maybe some of those are people who were never convinced he was going to be good in the first place and are trying to be right in their argument, even though they've been proven wrong 10 different times, but who feel like he played the position in such a unique way. He was so unlike basically any play we've ever seen before that if and when he loses that dynamism, whatever that ridiculous quality he had that we never had before, then who is he? I feel like what you're saying, Dominique, is he's already answered that. Dan, what I think this vote is suggesting is I'm not sure everyone thinks he's answered that.
That's right. Like if it was old school coaches and talent evaluators that never thought he'd make it in the NFL and they want to be proven right. But these are players.
That's right.
These are the guys that play with and against him that have said this was the second best player in the league a year ago, and now he's not top 68. I just find it I find it fascinating. It's the same pool of voters, right? It's 1 year different.
Yeah.
The voting is done during the season, right? It's not after the season, after we've seen them miss out on the playoffs. And so something changed about the way players perceive him.
That's right. So that's why, to the point you were making, which I don't disagree with. Obviously, this is not. These are not like carved in tablets or whatever. But it doesn't feel like nothing to me. It feels like something. We do something on our show a lot. Is this something or nothing? I don't think it's nothing. It doesn't mean that it's everything, but there's something in me that feels like it isn't nothing.
If we want to have the conversation about it's time for Lamar to evolve into the turnaround jump shot Michael Jordan era, fine. But anybody who voted for him, if you don't like him, if you're sick of him, if you're jealous of him, he's the all-time leader in passer rating, not running rating.
Right.
He's better than Breeze, than Steve Young, than Rodgers, than Peyton. Fantastic. That season he had. Bo Nix will never have a single season that Lamar Jackson has had in aggregate. And that's no slight to Bo Nix. Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson. He's the all-time leader.
Obviously, I would agree with everything you said, but I think that the argument that if anyone is making that he's not that guy, the argument they would make is that he's the all-time leader in passer rating because of the threat that his legs presented. Is the linebackers would not be as deep in their drops. You would see a lot less man coverage. There'd be reasons why. You'd blitz him more often, which opens up more opportunities. But he still needs to execute. And every player has different benefits that they can work from. The problem is you can see Lamar Jackson converting third and longs in tight windows over and over again, which have nothing to do with his running ability.
Yeah, look, I mean, you want to talk about the potential for a scorched earth tour, whatever was going on between him and his coach. He's got the new coach in there now. He seems to be completely bought in. He's got this fuel to the fire. Oh, they rated me 69th. Let's see if Lamar Jackson doesn't have one of those scorched earth